Welcome back to the Impact Psychedelics podcast. My name's Christina Joy. I'm one of your co-founders and podcast host. In this episode of Ask Us, we'll be answering the following question. I find myself saying, screens drain my energy. I feel like I need to set more boundaries with technology, but it seems like no matter how many boundaries I set, I always feel drained. This is such an incredible question because now the most important thing here to remember that applies to literally everything in your life is that it's not the thing itself that's messing you up. It's always the way that you are thinking about the thing. You are more powerful than you even understand, but you take your own power away by talking about things in the sense that they can hurt you or drain you, or they're making you feel like you're leaking energy. And by talking about leaking energy, what are you doing? You're just leaking energy. So by creating these boundaries, you're actually creating more drama for yourself than is necessary. And the best thing that you can do is just notice when you start to tell a story of what you don't want, which is to feel drained and to feel like you don't have power over your own situation, and to be focusing on the negative, right? Because what you focus on expands. And the truth is, how blessed are we to have a massive library of everything we could ever want literally in our pocket. That is absolutely insane. The fact that we have these screens that somehow people are demonizing and saying, this screen is draining my energy. Guess what? That screen holds the codes and the keys to literally anything that you want to know. That is your portal of access to unlimited information. We live in the information age, but you're holding yourself back from being able to access that information, ask the strong questions, learn the incredible things, to spread your message far and wide, to utilize these tools that we have. Technology is a tool. And when you're of the mindset of, I'm going to use this tool for the highest good, it can never drain you. It can never hurt you. And you set up really strong, beautiful, powerful vibrations of inner knowing that as the creator of your reality, you can set intentions. I prefer intentions over boundaries because boundaries are holding you back and creating separation. So what if you could just intend to only focus on the good and intend to use the technology in a way that's going to support your journey and help you to evolve? And by evolving, then assisting in the evolution of the collective. So setting a strong intention to say, I'm going to be really conscious of the way that I'm speaking about everything, not just technology, but what are the stories that you're telling and what are the beliefs that you're practicing? Because beliefs are literally shaping your entire world. What you believe about yourself, what you believe about other people, what you believe about the society that you live in, what you believe about literally everything. It's all showing up in front of you as a mirror. So go ahead and grab your journal and just start writing down a couple different things that you think on a regular basis, whether they be related to technology or to something else. What thoughts are you practicing, right? Because we get really good at what we practice. And so what boundaries are you saying you need to set? And with that, how are you setting those boundaries and then still feeling like you're drained? Because the universe doesn't understand what you want and what you don't want. It just gives you whatever you're thinking about. So by virtue of setting a boundary and thinking about what you don't want, you're actually saying, come here to me, this thing that I do not want. Give me more of that by the power of your awareness, because you're adding momentum to the thought about the thing that you don't want. So why would you actively say, I need to set a boundary around this thing, and this thing is totally like one of the best case scenario things that you literally have in your life to be excited about and to be grateful for and to actually use for the best and the highest. And so thinking to yourself thoughts of, may I use this for the highest good of all? May I show up with power? Because people who are in alignment and people who are actively taking action to help heal the collective, those people are using social media. They are spreading the word. They understand that social media is literally free advertising. The fact that we have Instagram to be able to publish and promote whatever it is that we want to share, to be able to practice sharing our voice in that way, to be able to create video content, to be able to create graphics. All of these things are blessings. And by demonizing these things, we're literally holding ourselves back. And you're continuing to stay stuck in unconscious conditioning because you probably weren't even aware that by saying all of these things, you're actually doing more harm than good to yourself. Because you were probably told by somebody else who was also confused and not aware of the way that the law of attraction works, is that technology is taking us out of our natural state and we have to be really careful about the time that we spend on technology. Just take a moment to think about how crazy it is that just because you heard something from someone, whether you respected them or believed what they were saying or not, you literally took on whatever that belief was without even really taking time to ask yourself and your inner guidance what would be best. Because that's how our society was playing out, especially during the time where most of us were being raised and technology was brand new and nobody really understood it. And so there was all of this messaging around stay away from the screens, limit your screen time and keep your kids away from the screens. They're so bad, and all of this from people who, if you look at those people right now, my guess is that most of those people are probably not living in alignment. They're probably self-medicating with alcohol. They're probably living in the old earth. The old earth perspective is that screens and technology is bad. Why? Because it's the obsolete lack dimension. They're stuck in a world where either screens don't exist or they're very brand new and nobody actually really understands how to use them. And the thing is, with technology, if you don't understand how to use it, it's really hard and really time consuming. But once you take time to actually educate yourself and become a vibrational match to all of the beautiful things that technology can do to help you, everything gets done a lot faster. And of course, there's going to be a learning curve, just like with everything that you do. So have a beginner's mindset and start using these things in a way that's actually going to support you on your journey. Because if you're here listening to this, odds are you're committed to your own healing. And because you're committed to your own healing, you're also committed to the healing of the collective. Because you know that you and the collective are one. Because God split into the many just for the joy of returning back to one. This is all about releasing separation. Boundaries are holding you back from being able to live in your power and focus on what you do want. Because you're not setting boundaries about things that you do want, right? And so maybe you're not adding enough momentum to the things that you do want. You don't even have time to focus on the things that you do want because you're too busy pushing against everything you don't want and draining yourself. And then getting into a position where you don't even know how to show up anymore because all you're doing is focusing on the negative. And now it's really important that you also harness the power of the algorithm of all the social media that you're using, because that's going to be a big part of how you can really get the most out of this beautiful technology. So what are you liking, commenting, and subscribing to? Because if you're focusing on things that you love, your For You page, the page that populates everything that's a vibrational match to you, is going to be full of inspiring, educational content. And if you're focusing on things that you don't want and constantly reacting and overreacting to propaganda and negative messaging, what are you going to get more of? You're going to get more of that. It's all about you. Your world is a mirror. So if you're someone who's constantly saying, this is draining me or that is draining me, it's actually not the thing that's draining you, it's you. You are draining yourself. And so how beautiful is it that now you have the opportunity to choose to see things differently and to focus on what you want more of instead. Because if you're constantly thinking thoughts that don't feel good and constantly looking at things that don't feel good and then talking about how bad something is and demonizing it and saying you need to set a boundary around it, all you're doing is pushing against what you don't want. So it's time to focus on what you do want. And actively searching for those things is going to help you clean up your algorithm. So you can literally go to your Instagram right now and just start searching for hashtags that resonate with you. Things like yoga, meditation, mindfulness, manifestation, literally anything that gets you excited, things that you want to learn about. All of those things are there at your fingertips, and people who are in alignment are creating content all about those things. And guess what those people aren't doing? They aren't demonizing technology, and they aren't telling the story of not wanting to be on technology. Those people are in alignment with what they want. The fact that they want to see the world as loving and to share inspiring content that will help you. And it's all right there for you. So going to these different pages that excite you and teach you things, and knowing that you have the opportunity to also set up your favorites. So if you go to your feed where all of the reels and posts are going to show up, go to the top left-hand corner. And when you click up there, you'll be able to drop down and it'll say, there'll be a tab that says favorites. And you can set up your favorites with accounts that inspire you. So when you go to that space, all of the things that go on the favorites feed will all be things that inspire you and get you excited. Now, personally, setting that intention for yourself to be like, when I go on social media, my intention is to see things that inspire me, right? By saying that, you feel good and you feel excited and you feel inspired. And now you're actually going to be watching content that inspires you and literally teaches you everything that you've been wanting to understand. And from that place of now having all of this knowledge and watching people live in alignment, you become like those people and you start creating like those people and you start creating more shift in this world and for your own community. And that's all it takes, is that you decide to start to focus on what feels good and start setting intentions instead of setting boundaries. Focus on what you do want instead of focusing on what you don't want. Showing up and telling the story of, I'm really excited to be a vibrational match to all the things that I'm wanting to learn about. I'm excited to watch social media literally change my life in a good way. I'm excited to share my knowledge after learning it. I'm excited to stand on the shoulders of the people who have come before me. I'm excited, I'm excited, I'm excited. And from that place, every single positive thought that you think gains momentum. And as you gain momentum, you start to literally wipe away any fear-based patterns because your mind is not even a vibrational match to them anymore. Just like you're not going to be a vibrational match to social media posts that aren't inspiring, you're not going to be a vibrational match to thoughts that aren't inspiring. Your mind is technology. It's the most profound, most incredible technology created by God. And you get to harness the power of the algorithm of your own mind. So this is about noticing what pictures and keywords and hashtags are most prominent in your mind, seeing those as an observer, write them down in your journal, And then clear up your SEO, your source energy optimization, and recognize and realize that you have the power to update your software. And by updating your software, you're going to be able to download good universal source energy, tap into the Wi-Fi, the wonderful infinite free intelligence, and become one with the tools that can help you. Instead of actively putting yourself into a full tilt technology virus with your virus thoughts. So you can go ahead and write down on one page. I like to do it on the left side of the page in a journal, right at big letters at the top, virus thoughts. And you're going to write down all of the beliefs of all of the things that you are actively draining yourself by thinking. And then on the other side, you're going to write down security thoughts. And those are going to be thoughts that combat the virus thought that you've been thinking, because every block can be myth bust with an affirmation. Because everything you're continuing to talk about, whether it be in your own mind or out loud, all of those things are manifesting in your life, and they're either giving you energy, they're energy drivers, or they're energy drainers. So for example, a virus thought would be, I feel like I need to set more boundaries with technology, and no matter how many boundaries I set, I always feel drained. And the security thought that would go along with that would be, I choose to set strong intentions with my use of technology. I get to harness the power of the algorithm of my mind. I get to show up every single day and like, comment, save, and share the things that inspire me. I get to tell the story of what I want. I am a vibrational match to all of the most loving content that will raise my frequency and elevate my awareness. And from that place of knowing that you feel better when you talk about things in a good way, you continue to just magnetize the next best feeling thought that you can find. And this is not to say that you have to just haphazardly use technology and just use it all day. That would be crazy. That's not having intention, right? So let's talk more about what your intentions can be with tech all day long. Starting your day with your phone on sleep mode is such a vibe, because at night you can set your phone to sleep mode, and in that mode you'll still be able to listen to an audiobook or play a meditation or watch a YouTube video, but notifications won't come through and the vibrate on your phone won't go off. So you don't even have to see what's going on in the back end if anyone's trying to get a hold of you. And then when you wake up in the morning, you can either set the intention to stay away from your phone if that's what the vibe is for you at this time. And remember, there's always seasons in life. So this isn't about saying, this is what I'm going to do forever. It's just about saying, this is what works for me right now. This is my intention for right now. And so one of the best things you can do is continue to have your phone on sleep mode and go ahead and immediately turn on one of these podcasts or a breathwork YouTube video and immediately tap right in to the frequency of love, to the frequency of universal source, to immediately, right when you wake up, tap into the universal source Wi-Fi instead of just letting your brain start talking to you about whatever unconscious patterned beliefs are that are showing up for you as themes in your life. So instead of getting attached to those themes and lowering your frequency, you can stay up high with us in the 5th dimension on the new earth. Now, the analogy that we talk about different elevator floors of emotions pertains to this in a really deep way. And that is when you're on a high frequency and you're thinking really good thoughts, the space that you're in feels really good and you can see the opportunities and the miracles that are all around you. Now picture this. You wake up in your bed in the morning, and from that place of thinking thoughts like, I love my cozy bed, I'm so excited for this, that, or the other thing that are coming up today. Saying your morning prayer. Dear God, please guide my thoughts and help me stick to your plan. Thank you for the beautiful, bountiful blessings that you've bestowed upon us. Thank you for all of the blessings and so on and so forth in your life, and listing those positive aspects in that high state of consciousness. It's like you've woken up in your vibrational penthouse and you feel good. And from that place of vibrational alignment in the penthouse, throughout your day, you might end up lowering your frequency a little bit. And as you notice that you've lowered your frequency a bit, instead of getting attached to the negative thoughts and continuing to speak those into existence and magnetizing more thoughts that don't feel good to you and lowering your frequency over and over and over again, you can instead raise your frequency back to the penthouse energy. And what does that look like? It means waking up and saying your prayers and saying all of the positive aspects that you're excited about, and then tapping into an EDM breathwork session. We have lots of really fun breathwork and yoga practices that you can do to start your day, to cleanse your system, to literally detoxify your soul container. You do one of those practices, you maintain the penthouse energy. And throughout the day, if you notice that your frequency lowers and now you're on the 17th floor, or then you're dropping to the 16th floor, and now somebody says something that you really don't like and you've dropped down to the 15th, 14th floor, you notice, oh, I'm thinking a thought that doesn't feel good. I've dropped down to the 14th floor. What am I going to do to raise my frequency? You grab your phone and you actually use it for good. You put on a podcast, you look at your favorites page, you get inspired, you watch a YouTube video, you use this thing that's in your pocket or this laptop or whatever type of technology that you have access to for good. Instead of demonizing it, you choose to see it as your best tool. Because when you actively choose to focus on something that will help you, you feel better and you get better. And the more that you do that, the better that you feel. And then it'll become a habit. And you'll really start to become the person who has everything that you want, because you'll be able to get yourself up to the penthouse frequency very quickly. Because not only are you going to be learning incredible tools to help you, but you're going to constantly have that high frequency energy within and around you, because you're going to be in the penthouse energy yourself. So you're going to be able to download universal source energy and listen to all the guides of the highest truth and compassion that's going to give you the impulses that you need to get to where you want to go. Instead of thinking to yourself, fuck, I'm in the 4D, I'm lowering into the 3D, I don't know what to do, all of these people need my attention, I'm having all of these texts and these emails, and I hate my phone, and I hate this screen, and all of these negative things that you're actively saying to yourself, and then you're literally trying to set a boundary against the one thing that could actually help you get back into a positive state of mind. Because the people who are maintaining their alignment are showing up to help you. And for you to have access to that, what a blessing. So next time you notice that you're freaking out and demonizing things and blaming your own unhappiness on the different things that are around you, notice that as you do that, you're magnetizing more thoughts and more beliefs and more patterns that don't feel good to you. You're setting more boundaries against things that you perceive to be hurting you, but all you're doing is victimizing yourself. And in each moment that you actually realize that, and instead of being unconscious and continuing to run on the hamster wheel of that fear-based pattern, you can flip the script, see it differently, tell a new story, tap in, and actually tune in to the Wi-Fi. Get on the Wi-Fi, listen to a podcast, listen to a YouTube video, do a breathwork practice, whatever it takes. Use universal source energy for good, and your life will change. Thank you guys so much. I love answering these questions. It's so much fun being able to really focus on what we want more of and use all of these tools for good. Please feel free to submit your question in the comments on the YouTube version of this podcast, which will always be posted on the @EDM Yoga YouTube page. You can find it under the Ask Us podcast series playlist. Thank you so much for being here. Have a beautiful day, and I'll see you in the next one.